Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FxC Summer Bash. We're getting into the Game 2 with Supernova versus Darkwave White. My name is Tara, and on the caster's bench with me is Jamie and Social.
I'm staring at a black screen, apparently.
Oh, there it goes. It's on the stream now.
No, I mean, like, in my client.
You are?
Yep.
This might not be good.
That's okay.
I'm not sure what's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I can look at profiles and stuff.
DW banned Darius, Anivia, Supernova banned Heckram's Corner.
Do we need to redraft?
I can probably just join after.
Okay.
Yeah, I think once the draft is over, he'll be able to get in the game. So
Okay.
I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
Alright, let's hope so. Otherwise, if we have to redraft, we should be able to do it really quick.
It's okay, just go. Cast.
I can't cast without my Jamie.
Darkwave picks up Lulu first pick.
And
Oh, we have a Darius ban.
Supernova took Tom Kench and Elise. They actually left Tom Kench up for Supernova. I'm really surprised about this. They practically did the exact same bans.
Yeah, they banned Fizz this time though.
Yeah, but they banned the Anivia, and I'd rather would have seen them ban Tom Kench than Anivia. Darius might be another one of Edward's really good top laners, so they might be more scared of his Darius than his Tom Kench.
Yeah. Edward was the one who brought out the Darius, right? I believe so.
Yes, he was. However, he's going for the Tom Kench again.
Yeah.
I don't think Supernova feels tested, so they're going with the same comp.
Darkwave just quickly locked in Malphite and Gnar.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing an exact redraft of last time, which I don't advocate, because after losing that game, you kind of have to realize that they have answers for all your picks.
Yeah.
And if you go in with the same exact picks, it was your loss, so it's on you to change up your game and figure out what you did wrong. But if you're just doing the same thing and saying, oh, it was just how we played it,
I completely agree with that 100%. Supernova doesn't need to change anything in how they played because they won that last game. Darkwave White needs to do some new picks. They need to change the game up. If they play the exact same thing, they're probably just going to get rolled again. They're hovering Jace and Ezreal right now on Supernova. They take the Ezreal, and it looks like they're taking the Jace.
that's interesting.
I wonder if they're gonna pull off some cheese and put the Ezreal in mid and the Jace as their ADC.
I'm not sure why they've switched to the Fizz this time, or to the Jace rather than locking in the Fizz, simply because of how well Fizz did against the Lulu specifically.
They did end up banning Fizz too.
Yeah, you can't see it because your client is black, but Fizz is banned.
Oh, okay, I see it. I just turned on the stream now. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of questioning, though, the fact that they went with so much heavy AD then. I mean, they are going with the poke comp, though, with both Jace and Ezreal.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Elise and Tahm Kench add some magic damage, so it's not like it's a huge issue.
Yeah, and Team Darkwave White ended up locking in the Tristana and the Nautilus. It's pretty much the exact same composition all over again.
It is the exact same comp.
I didn't want to say it is the exact same in case I was too tired to remember that that was the exact same team they had. And Supernova last picked Janna.
It's identical team comps besides the change for the Fizz for Jace.
Yeah.
It's a bit different stylistically because there'll be a lot more poke coming out from Supernova. On the other hand, though, Darkwave White just went with the exact same comp and said, as long as we ban Fizz, we'll be okay.
I really don't think the Fizz was like their main problem. I think they need to change up their whole comp, try something different. They can't play the exact same champs and expect the game to turn into a different outcome just because there's a Jace now instead of a Fizz.
I mean,
if they're gonna go with a poke comp, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, the poke comp, like you said, is actually not good against the hard engage comp compared to the Fizz.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, if they're gonna run a poke comp, the one I would run Gangplank top, just because Gangplank's actually really good into as like part of a poke comp because you don't poke so much because you're kind of short range. But if anyone tries to go in on your team, it sets up your barrels like you get free barrel procs with your Trinity Force Infinity Edge crits, and you'll blow up the back line as they're trying to follow up their front line. You actually see Fnatic doing that with their team comp a lot.
Mm. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's just weird, the Jace pick, because it just gives Malphite another good target to easily hit, and
Yeah, that's very true.
Not
like
that it did Malphite much good in the last game.
Well,
I
Malphite
mean,
didn't really have a target that stood still besides Tom Kench, really. I mean, Janna maybe, but that was about it.
yeah, he was able to get some sneak ones like on the Ezreal when he didn't shift instantaneously, but like even those he had to like flash and there was no follow up. With the Jace, it's a lot easier because he has no insta dashes or like being able to like repel or get up on a pole and basically just ignore all of the Malphite engage.
Yeah, additionally, there's a bit different summoners mid lane now. Lulu actually went with Barrier rather than Exhaust, which makes sense because it's not a Fizz anymore, so there's not the backline assassin. I'm just worried about if the Barrier will be that useful. Because
Yeah.
if you barrier and then you accidentally dodge the poke, I mean, it's a weird situation. If you accidentally dodge the poke, then the barrier is technically wasted. Whereas if you had taken heal, even if the poke misses, you at least keep the health. So it's kind of arguable as to which one you should take against a poke comp. There's also not a lot of sustain other than like shields. That's about the only thing they have to kind of combat the poke comp. So I'm expecting an early Bloodthirster, possibly from Tristana. I personally want to see a Blade of the Rune King just because of the Tom Kench, though.
I don't really know if the Blade of the Rune King will really do that much to Tom Kench. He just absorbs so much damage.
He's going to absorb the damage regardless, but it helps you chunk him down much faster than you would otherwise, in my opinion, because he stacks so much health, and he doesn't need to worry too much about anything just because no one does a lot of health damage on their team other than Gnar. Like we saw Gnar do pretty decently against him a couple times. But that was
Yeah.
about it. It was pretty much Gnar kind of trying to bully, but then as soon as he got low, Tom Kench would just run with his shield. I think if you have a Tristana who has Blade of the Rune King to slow him and chase him down,
Yeah, that's another big
as well
thing.
as with the resets possible, it could... I think it's a lot better chance than trying to go with a Bloodthirster. Like, I think you also get the Bloodthirster at some point just to keep your sustain up. But I think Blade of the Rune King is really important here as a somewhat... I would like to see it around the same time Tom Kench finishes Warmlogs. Because Edward Elric has actually been building the exact same build for Tom Kench both games in a row, where he goes Sunfire Cape into Warmogs and then into Spirit Visage. And it gives him a lot of health. Not as much armor as a Randuin's build might, but...
Looks like Supernova might be going in for an early level 1 here. They were spotted out by a ward though, so they're probably going to back off.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now, and Jace is just dropping the ward before backing off, but they were considering going in, but they got spotted out by the ward, so they decided it was too risky to keep going. They're looking at the bot side, but their ward was placed down a bit too late, so they don't actually know that there's a ward placed down there, probably.
Well, Tom get in, but he's gonna get a little bit of harass from this Gnar.
And Lulu's there too.
Oh, that's a lot of slows.
That is, Boomerang should be up soon because it's in 1 second.
But Jace is
Glitter-
there. They do get a lot of damage done to him, but he'll just back and heal himself up and then walk to lane.
Yeah, and they're not gonna do the double jungle this time.
Minions have spawned.
They're just gonna have the normal leash.
Tom Kinch might miss like a bit of CS, but because of that whole thing, there is going to be no double jungle. The other advantage of the double jungle is you can start on either side of the map based on what you prefer, rather than being stuck where your bot lane is, so you could start top or you could start bot. It also frees up your bot lane to take something like Gromp while you take blue and wolves if you wanted to do that, but obviously not the case this game. We've got both bot lanes leashing for the jungler and standard lanes. No crazy builds coming out with like a random cloth armor and mana pot like we saw that one game from the Orianna. Everyone's just kind of going Doran's items.
It almost worked for her.
I know, right?
Bit of a trade going on in mid right now between Lulu and Jace, both just trying to chunk each other down.
What I really want to see is where this Elise ganks first.
Oh, Nautilus landed a hook on Ezreal. The bomb is on, the Ignite is on. He takes a lot of damage.
I think they got that Ignite early is not worth it, unless you can kind of guarantee the kill.
Yeah.
Because they're down the Ignite. They are down the exhaust though, so it's an equal trade at least.
Yeah.
Social, how do you feel about Ezreal Janna as a lane? Have you ever played it?
I haven't played Ezreal Janna, but
Nautilus gets the hook on Janna, but it was under turret, so he has to back off quickly from the turret damage. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, it's fine. I just feel like it's pretty passive. Like, it's just.
Elise is ganking mid right now too. Lulu's running for her life. She ends up having to flash and the cocoon misses.
Missed the cocoon. Yeah. Just really reliant on the Qs.
Again,
Well,
the
Ezreal
Nova
lane.
is going like really heavy on the pressure, other than the bot lane this time.
Yeah.
It's actually mostly the jungler they're rotating around.
Yeah. Elise is making the pressure because it's really hard for Malphite to do the same on the other end.
Yeah, so Malphite just goes for...
Ooh.
Oh wow, first blood ends up going to Lulu. We totally missed that. Chase ended up going hard on her. Got himself caught under the turret, put the Ignite down, but the turret took him out.
Yep. Barrier bait. The barrier's enough to bait him in to think he could get the kill. Maybe if she even had heal there, she might have died.
Fair enough, fair enough.
The heal barrier argument continues.
Arguably, Jace should have never been in turret range, and if he was...
Probably.
Elise is ganking top right now. Nara's megaform, he's forced to flash away.
Yeah, he does flash, keeps himself safe, but that's another summoner burn. Like, everywhere this Elise goes, she's burning summoners at least. She got one from... or Jace probably got one from Lulu, but... every time Elise shows up somewhere, she's getting some kind of pressure on the map. Unfortunately, even though she got the mid lane pressure, Jace ended up dying to Lulu.
Yeah, while Jace did end up getting like Lulu's flash out of her, he also ended up flashing to try to kill her under her own turret and died in the process of doing that.
So ultimately, early game is actually looking a bit better for Darkwave White just because of the misplay there, taking the turret shot, and Jace is forced to get a second Doran's Blade. Whereas Lulu's already building towards either, probably Morella now.
Both junglers are hanging around mid right now. Elise is spotted out by Pink Ward, but she doesn't realize it's there.
Yeah, and Malphite's just going to counter jungle, so Lulu's, like, kind of scared to walk up, but if she kind of baits towards the left side of the lane, she can run into the Malphite, and then if Jace goes in without flash against the Lulu and Malphite, that could be very bad for him. Elise is getting... she managed to sneak behind them on bottom. She's flanking.
Nautilus throws his hook and gets
Oh.
away. I think he was trying to hook Elise, but she repelled up and he ended up hitting the wall and hooking himself to safety.
That was interesting. Personally, I think she should have just held the repel and, you know, switched to human to get the cocoon right away to at least get some damage and guarantee something out of them. But instead, they just lose a bunch of mana. That's about it. Like, all they lost was a bit of mana. Managed to get themselves to safety.
Tom and Malphite are up top right now, or sorry, Gnar and Malphite are up top right now trying to tank down Tom, but they just can't seem to kill that catfish.
Yeah, it'd be
He's
hard to
slippery.
dive that Tom Kench.
Yeah, because even if you get the gray health low, if he feels safe, he'll just use the gray health to sustain up. If he doesn't, then he'll pop the shield. So it's kind of deceptive in how difficult it is to kill him. It's almost like a Tryndamere though, where if they mistime the E timing on Tom Kench, then and you get a bunch of bursting.
Elise is going in for another gank on mid, but the cocoon misses.
Yeah, that cocoon went really wide.
I think she was expecting Lulu to dodge to the left. I mean, it's not too bad of a prediction. If she had thought that Lulu would dodge to the right and thrown it that way, she probably would have grabbed her.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pressure from this Elise. Based off the CS alone though, every single lane on Supernova is actually picking up a small lead. Just because of the CS. Like, Jace has managed to pull ahead of Lulu. Tom Kench is somehow demolishing this Gnar top. Like, I'm not sure
Yeah, I
if
think it
that's
was just
allowed
that,
to happen.
that gank top where he blew the flash. He didn't end up TPing back into lane and lost a lot of minions.
Ezreal just went really hard on Tristana and chunked her down by a lot of health.
I don't know if that top is very much into equivalent exchange there, because it's just really unbalanced in how Tom's been able to get a rather free lane when we've seen what happens when he gets those items and skills up. No one? Okay.
Yes, no one.
Sorry.
We get it. Get it.
What do we get? Did I miss a pun again?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
It's okay, there's more to come.
Freak level puns of damage. Nautilus is just hanging out on this ward. He's got to know it's there. Ezreal's thrown like so many Qs in after him. He must not care.
Tristana keeps canceling auto attacks onto the Ezreal, it seems. Like, she'll queue up one, but then all of a sudden move. So, a lot of these trades are going Ezreal's side just because he can land these Qs. So even though it's a passive lane, it's so hard for him to do anything.
Malphite has just found the Elise from a ward
He's
placed by
actually
Lulu.
already 6, so this is Malphite's time to do something because he has his ultimate and he can make a play somewhere. The only issue is where's he gonna make it? Top lane, it's Tom Kench. It's hard. Mid lane, that's probably his best bet actually, is mid lane. It's a Jace. All he has is Flash.
And he can combo it with the Lulu ult as well.
Gnar's going ham on Tom Kench right now. He just ulted him into the side wall, and then he's forced to flash away from him. I have no idea why.
Well, I think if he didn't flash, he was going to get eaten by the Tom Kench. And that would have been a ton of damage and possibly a death.
Yeah, it would have done 23% of his maximum health. And it's magic damage, so Gnar's armor wouldn't help that much. At least finds Malphite and smites him, and she's going in for a fight in the bottom river.
That is
Janna's already collapsed.
tanky Malphite though. Janna comes in to wind tunnel him away. He's taking a lot of damage to this Elise, but Tristana is there to save them. Ezreal all comes in, but it doesn't hit Malphite.
Malphite ulted away. This does give a bunch of pressure onto Supernova's side now, though, because he now has a minute, almost 2 minutes of time where he can't use that ultimate, so his lanes know they can be aggressive and not fear it.
Tom Kench and Gnar, like, you can get on top lane.
Ooh.
Tom Kench ends up taking down Gnar. Both of them were super low, though. If Gnar had kept Tom under the turret, I feel like he would have been able to take him out because he was tanking turret shots at the time, but he moved over into the tri-brush, trying to get away from him, and Tom Kench ended up getting out of turret range.
Yeah, normally what you want to do is you want to do a ring around the Rosie, your turret, and just try and kite with Gnar. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, and then, you know, Tom Kench's slippery tongue just managed to secure the kill, and Mini Gnar is not tanky whatsoever, so it actually does quite a amount of damage, because that is actually what you max first on Tom Kench top, apparently. It's doing about 300 damage right now,
Yeah.
and that's including his ultimate damage, of course. And he's already finished his Sunfire Cape because of that now. It's only a 500 gold lead for the Supernova team, but there's a fight.
Oh, there's a fight going on in mid right now. Malphite gets caught out away from everyone else. Lulu's there. She has ult. She ends up wild growthing him just to save his life. But he is forced to flash away.
Malphite's ult's coming up soon, but yeah.
Nautilus catches Janna. He goes in her. Tristana's there. And
Malphite ult's almost up, but there's a teleport coming when they have to disengage.
Tom Kench is in there now. He is just this huge front line.
It's like the team wasn't on the same page. The Tom was teleporting in while the Elise and the Janna flashed away from the fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's still okay for the poke composition simply because they have control over Dragon, which they're on right now, and the poke composition isn't too worried about diving in, they just want to kite it out. And they're probably okay with this. It's the Darkwave team that I'm worried about, mostly because 2 times in a row now, Malphite has had to literally flash out or ult out. Gnar's fighting the Tom Kench, but
Malphite's in. He hits him, he ults him, but I don't know, they might be able to take this Tom Kench down, but he is so tanky.
He's gonna use this shield.
Yep. Maybe if they had Mega Gnar.
Yeah, if they have Mega Gnar, it probably would have been a kill, but it's just a little bit too late.
And now it's quieting a bit down as everyone goes back on the Supernova team to get items and buy. Jace is actually...
Nautilus ends up getting a hook onto Ezreal. He doesn't even bother dashing away.
Yeah, they don't get much there. Lulu's actually roamed down, but she was spotted on a ward, and I don't think they're going to get anything out of this, except with maybe a... I still don't think they'll get anything out of this. It's Janna and Ezreal. Like, Ezreal's so slippery, and couple that with Janna, how are you going to kill them?
Yeah, this really passive lane is like working out really well for them. Nautilus keeps trying to go in and...
Jace is going in on Lulu. He's managed to get a ton of damage. Oh
my god, he actually kills her. She had wild growth and she didn't even use it on herself.
That was brutal. I'm not sure if we're allowed to show that on stream, but it happened.
I think she greatly underestimated the amount of damage that Jace could get off on her.
Yeah, as soon as the gate went up for the shock blast, it should have been a cue, like, you need to use something, because that's his biggest damage. Everything he did before was just a bit, and if he got you to that low health before then...
Yeah, he ended up taking down the outer turret as well for that. Malphite's trying to protect the inner turret at the moment, but there's not really much he could do.
Yeah, it's a huge swing in momentum for the Supernova team, actually, because taking that mid turret makes it so much easier to rotate into the jungle and pressure the outer ones. There's actually a fight going on top lane. They're trying to dive with Tom Kench and Elise.
He's taking a lot of damage from the turret, but he has his shield. Does get him pretty low on health.
If he stays here, I'm pretty sure he dies. Yeah, he's gonna back off. Because at that point, Elise can just start tanking the turret.
Yeah.
And then swap out the aggro if he stays.
Mid lane, Jace got caught out near Wraiths. Malphite ulted, but Jace flashed and dodged it.
That's really good reaction time then. And they do get the top lane turret.
Gnar is just hanging out. He He's not going up for any CS until he knows it's safe up there.
Yeah, there's some pretty big CS leads on the Supernova team in their lanes. Their jungler's a bit behind, but that's probably because of just the amount of pressure Elise has been putting on the map. Like, Combs on this Elise has just been constantly ganking, even giving up some time farming to do it, and there's gonna be two
Malphite's
in the
back top
top.
again, but Elise is right there as well. This is not good for Team Darkwave White. Nara's just getting chunked down. He's not gonna make it. He goes down to Elise.
Malphite had no mana and no ult.
And in mid, Lulu and Jace are duking it out. Lulu's had to use her ult to try to stay alive, but Jace is getting chunked down really well here. Lulu could have flashed to kill him, but she decided to be safe.
She was low on mana. I think the optimal play would have been to follow him for auto attacks, and when he shock blasts back, you can flash over it. And then hopefully land it, because you know he has no flash. They should be timing stuff like that.
Nautilus ends up getting a hook down on Ezreal. He's taking a lot of damage. The ult comes in, it hits Janna first. Tristana uses her jump to go in. He has Ignite on him, but the Janna shield saves him.
See, that went as well as it could have for Darkwave down in the bot lane, but Ezreal is just entirely too squishy. Or too slippery, rather, not squishy. And then, coupled with the help from Janna, it's even getting him locked down so much just wasn't enough. They do get scuttle control for Supernova down here, and Elise is going in.
Elise just caught out Tristana. She jumped to safety, but Jace is right there. She ended up having to flash away. She just gets destroyed by Jace. He's in the middle of the team now. Nautilus has to flash away. Malphite and Gnar there. Gnar's got Mega. I don't really think there's too much they can do. 4 members coming in at them and their main damage source dead. They just need to disengage from this, which they are doing pretty safely.
The problem is that Tristana is still like at a huge deficit, just like last game, and it's the core of their comp as they poke out the mid lane again. But now that they're a poke siege comp, they can literally just sit here and poke at them with both Ezreal and Jace landing shock blasts and missing shots. Whereas this Tristana is still trying to scale up, but when's it going to happen? Now? 10 minutes later? 15 minutes later? How long can they last before Supernova just breaks down their walls with this poke comp? They're rotating over to Dragon now, and while Jace is low, Gnar has no TP and he's heading top. And Malphite's way too low to continue this fight.
Yeah, they shouldn't even be trying to contest this if Gnar doesn't have TP. And Supernova do end up taking the dragon. Darkwave White don't even get close to it.
Yeah, and Ezreal's rotated bot, so he's looking to try and get that extra outer turret, and then all of the outer turrets will be down at this point, and then their poke comp should be strong enough to start sieging on the inner ones if they feel like it.
Gnar's trying to take down top turret, but Tom Kench is ulting in behind him. Or should I say in front of him. Gnar still gets to take it down. He is in Mega Gnar form, so he probably feels pretty safe right now, but he does need to get out of there. He's about to go mini.
I think he could have stayed there and kited him out, because he has a bit of flow reduction. But instead he opts for the safer play. But I feel like Darkwave really needs to be able to somehow take a risk and get a pick, because they're just falling further and further behind.
Yeah, this is pretty similar to the last game. All of Supernova's lanes are ahead in CS, except for jungle.
Yeah, it's just the pressure that Elise brings compared to this Malphite.
Yeah, Elise has been giving up a bit of CS, but she's still pretty close to Malphite, and she's been putting out a lot of pressure, whereas Malphite has only been able to put out pressure when his ultimate is up, and half the time he doesn't even have the mana to keep going after he's used it. And there's not a ton of follow-up because this Tristana is still trying to scale. Like, that's mostly the story of this game, is sadly the Tristana needs to get going to hyper carry status. And this is generally why you see people pick a Kog'Maw in this type of composition, is because the Kog'Maw has the earlier power spike of Trinity Force. And he has a much smoother build path. You just go Trinity Force, and then Blade of the Rune King. You do tons of damage to the front line. And arguably, Kog'Maw is probably one of the most reliable picks against Tahm Kench. Like, if anyone's gonna shred down Tahm Kench, it's gonna be Kog'Maw. There might be a fight here starting.
Nautilus looks like he's a little caught out, but he ends up just walking to safety. They're more
bit of a Lulu shield and his own shield.
Yeah. Janna gets caught out by Malphite too, trying to get down some wards.
This is the time for the Malphite to use his ult.
He ends up getting cocooned by Elise. He ults in, he hits Jace and Elise and Janna. Janna comes in and saves them with the ult. Tahm Kench is now in the middle of the team, just tanking so much. Nar's there, he's mega, he ults 3 of them against the back wall, but he ends up getting taken down by Ezreal. And Supernova is running for it while Tristana is like trying to take down the stragglers. They're re-engaging on her. Jace feels comfortable enough, she has to jump away.
Because Tristana just doesn't do what the team needs her to do.
Yeah.
Like, that fight could have been won if Tristana could just get the damage off, but she couldn't.
There are so many flashing health bars on both teams right now. It looks like Supernova is even getting this mid turret.
Tahm Kench is teleported in, and he's probably going to pick up the top one too, at this rate.
This is just a really good rotation from Supernova.
And Tahm Kench is working on his Warmogs now and almost has it. That's going to be a huge point of pain once he finishes that, because then even if you do get him low, he just walks away from the fight.
Yeah,
Heals up with Warmog's passive.
They almost killed him that last fight actually. He had a small sliver of health, like 1 or 2 auto attacks from Tristana would have brought him down, but she just couldn't get in there to do the damage that the team needs her to do.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird position to be in because Tristana takes so long to scale up to be able to mow down the front line, but that's precisely what this comp is probably best at, is mowing down the front line, because the ones with the most damage are all stuck on Tristana. Like, that's the most damage, and then Lulu, that's the second.
Nautilus is getting caught out right now. He's cocooned, he's knocked up, he ends up flashing over the wall by blue buff.
Ooh.
And one
Tristana
Jace Q just destroys Tristana. She's got it back now.
And that's why I said I wanted to see some sustain items, because she's going to get poked out like that. And there's not a lot of people on her team who can actually take those for her. Like, even Nar's somewhat squishy, just because he's behind everyone else on the other team.
There's actually an 8,000 gold lead for Supernova.
Yeah, it's
another
approaching 9,000 now. Yeah, these shock blasts are gonna make it difficult, and this is pretty much what Supernova's composition is designed around, is you get the poke down, and then when they back off you take the turret, and then just rinse and repeat every time.
It looks like they're heading for the bottom inner turret now. They want that out. Malphite's trying to protect it, but there's only 1 of him and 3 of them, and he's taking a lot of damage from Elise. Oh, and Ezreal ends up taking him down. Now there's just a lone Tristana there. I don't really know if she's any safer than that Malphite was.
Yeah, we're getting a couple transformed more manas now. The second Manmune is about 14 mana away, and that's just yet another free power spike for the Supernova team. It's hard to imagine.
Supernova is heading straight off to Dragon.
And it's going to be about a 10k gold lead soon. They're just 5,000 gold away from, or 500 gold away from a 10k gold lead. And we saw some brief glimmers of hope where Darkwave had some decent team fights. I just feel like they were offered those because the previous team from Supernova, although it was pretty similar, there was a Fizz diving in with people as well, so there was a lot more opportunities for fights. Whereas with this one, you have Jason and Ezreal sitting as far back safe as they can get, and that's going to be a huge issue for the Dark Wave team to get to.
They're all positioned so that they don't want to fight at all, really. So you have to really force the fight if you're Dark Wave.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, most of their damage is on the Tristana, which means you have to somehow get her onto the backline, but with an Elise, a Tom Kench...
Tristana's actually caught up by Jace right now. She ends up having to ult just to get him off
Look
of
at the
her.
shock blade gate.
He has
She's dead.
flash.
Oh,
she
she dodges and heals. She definitely didn't need to use that heal. She was terrified that that Jace was going to kill her.
She thought the shock blast might hit, so she didn't want to look dumb if the shock blast did hit, shock blast did hit, I guess. But if that shock blast had hit, I kind of feel like that might have actually. Oh,
Ezreal just takes down Lulu. I wasn't even expecting that. I was watching the trade the whole time while you were talking, just going, yeah, she's gonna get away.
Yeah, I was watching it too, and then he just went in and was like, "This is my kill," and
yeah. Looks like
and
Lulu's
Nautilus
trying
ends up
too
getting
hard.
caught out as well. He gets taken down by Ezreal, who's tanking the turret. I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but he gets out alive.
Burst damage.
probably
The
shouldn't
Muramana-
be equal.
Oh my god, the Muramana plus Triforce, it just allows you to duel with like almost anyone. It's extremely strong.
Yeah, and he almost has Last Whisper too, so he has damage on top of that, and I don't know if it's actually, if we're actually allowed to show that on stream again, but Ezreal did it anyways.
They're going to Baron.
Yep, Supernova is starting Baron. We should be able to take this down pretty quick now that Ezreal's here.
Yeah. There's nothing really Dark Wave Fight can do.
Yeah, and then they're going to go back. Ezreal has almost 3,000 gold, so once he comes back, he's going to have... Yeah, that's... He finished Last Whisper.
And Cutlass.
Yeah.
And Tristana still doesn't have a second item done, whereas Ezreal's on his fourth again. This is the same story as last game, where Tristana just can't find the gold.
They really needed to change their team composition, and they didn't do it, and they're paying for that.
Like, it's almost as if inflation has kind of affected Tristana's gold. And so she's just unable to buy the items because your gold isn't worth as much, but... Got it.
Okay, that one was good.
Yeah, I'll stop. I got what I wanted done.
Uh-huh.
They're at 3 dragons too, so they might actually end before they even get to the dreaded 5th dragon.
They're 13k ahead. Nautilus just flashed to get out on Ezreal, but I don't really think that was worth it. Malphite ults in. Ezreal tried to flash away, but he didn't make it. They might actually shut him down now. The kill is going to go on to Gnar. Nautilus is trying to zone off Elise and Tom Kench. She repels up. She gets in on the team. Tristana gets the reset. She jumps Yeah, Lulu tried to save Tristana with a wild growth, but it wasn't enough. Tom flashes and he's got Jace in his mouth. Chase just immediately ults right onto Lulu. She goes down.
Tom Kench is tanking turrets so they can keep going.
Malphite is flashing, trying to walk away. Tom teleported in front of him just in case. But that is an ace for Supernova.
And, like, let's get physical. He does get physical. All that physical damage. He has a Bloodthirster, a Last Whisper, Muramana, and a Brutalizer.
You know, they might actually try to end the game off of this.
They have super minions with Baron buff, and
Nautilus just tried to hook in and he just got destroyed by them.
Tristana should be trying to quickly secure the Elise, but she's going for the Jace, and Jace almost beat...
Oh, she takes him down and he gets her at the same time. That shutdown gold isn't going to do her any good though. They end up winning this game. And the Winions are taking down that inhibitor as well as the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, looks
Lulu
like
has to wild growth herself just to stay alive.
The bottom lane turret survive. Doesn't look like it.
Malphite's gonna get. Yeah, he gets.
Malphite is eaten and destroyed by Tom Kench.
Let me check. Yeah, that's
Ezreal's there now.
Yeah, their Nexus is wide open. This should be game. Nautilus is doing all he can to keep Ezreal off of it, though. And Lulu's too scared to come off the fountain. Tristana just jumps in. She knows that it's now or never. She's gonna do something, but the Winions were way too much. And
That Tom Kench was doing 33% of someone's health every time he ate them.
that is a disgusting number. And that is the second game for Supernova. They just won the FxC Summer Bash. Congratulations, Supernova.